Good afternoon, students. I'm using a new Zoom camera, so I might seem a little blurry today. So Brittany, so you're the very first student I'm using on my new Zoom camera. So do I seem blurry to you? You'll have to unmute yourself. Anyway, so this is week 1 of the new class of fall 2021, and I want to welcome everybody to this class. And so for this week, week 1, all you have to do are 2 things. You just have to introduce yourself in the week 1 forum, and then number 2, you have to take your week 1 grammar quiz. And so in this Zoom lecture, I'm going to go over your week 1 quiz. And so you need to watch this recording before you take your quiz so that you can get a better grade. And before you take the actual quiz, you should get at least score a 100% on the practice quiz inside the prep sheet. And so you can find the quiz 1 prep sheet on the home page of the classroom. And also I sent you the lecture 1 notes. Okay, so either way, there are many different ways in which you can access this recording or access the lecture notes to this recording. I'm going to move myself a little. All right, and so without further ado, I'm going to go over, let's see if I can. All right, I'm going to share my screen and go over the week 1 quiz. So welcome everyone to this new class. All right, so in the week 1 quiz, I'm going to introduce parts of speech. What is a subject and verb in a sentence? Verb tenses, subject-verb agreement, and then I'm going to go over the week 1 practice test. So you should be able, right after I go over this lecture, you should be able to score a 100% on the week 1 practice test. Then you'll be ready for the actual quiz. So here we go. So study this section carefully because the answers to the questions, the practice quiz, are embedded in these grammar concept explanations. Memorize these sentences because these sentences are on your week 1 quiz. So the very first thing we're going to learn about, what is a noun? And so a noun, a common noun, is a person, place, or thing. It is a book, river, table. All of these are known as common nouns because they are a person, place, or thing. A plural noun is more than one person, more than one place, and more than one thing. So examples of plural nouns are books, rivers, tables. A proper noun. A proper noun, names and titles, names of people, places, and things. And when you have a proper noun, you always have to capitalize the proper noun. So in here, which one is a noun? And so remember that a noun, this is an actual quiz question. So which one is a noun? So a noun is a person, place, or thing. And so here, ran is not a noun because it is a verb, which is the action of running. C is lumpy, which is an adjective which describes a mattress or something. So the only answer to this is B, because B is a river. So remember that a noun is a person, place, or thing. Janet, oh, did somebody want to say something? Did anybody have questions? No? Okay. Janet earned first place in the poetry competition. What type of, this is an actual quiz question. So Janet earned first place in the poetry competition. What type of noun is the underlying word? And so here you have a proper noun because Janet is somebody's name. So remember that a proper noun are names and titles of people like King James, Aunt Jane, or Uncle Bob. All of these are capitalized and are proper nouns. My aunt makes the best chocolate cake. So aunt, what kind of noun is aunt? It's not a proper noun because it doesn't have anyone's name in it. So therefore it's a person, place, or thing. It becomes a common noun. And when you have a common noun, you don't have to capitalize it. Okay, so here you have a common noun because aunt is a person. hence a common noun. Are we there so far? Yes? Okay, welcome. Welcome Kayla, Brittany, and Andy to the class. So here, a pronoun. A pronoun replaces a noun. A pronoun must agree with the noun it replaces. And so the noun that the pronoun replaces is known as an antecedent. So if I say Robert is a good student, he studies hard. So the word Robert is the antecedent, and therefore he has to agree with Robert. If I say Helen is a great student, she studies hard, Helen is the antecedent. And so antecedent is the word to which the pronoun agrees with, okay? And so that this test quiz goes by the old style grammar of just he and she, even though in today's language you would use they, but this quiz goes by he and she. So an antecedent is what goes before the pronoun, and then the pronoun has to agree with that antecedent. In other words, the pronoun agrees with the noun. And so pronoun agrees with its antecedent, the noun it replaces, and Janet is fun. She loves the movies. Children are innocent. They are cute. A child is innocent. He or she is cute. What is the correct pronoun to use for antecedent children? This is an actual quiz question. The children played with. What would you put in front of the children played with? What kind of toys all day? So is it their, or is it his or her? What kind of children? What would be the answer? Would it be their or his? Brittany, would this be their or his? You'll have to unmute. Andy, what would be the answer to this question? The children played with their toys, or the children played with his toys? Their toys, correct. So here you have more than one child, and therefore the pronoun there has to agree with the plural noun children. And so this is what we have so far: common noun, plural noun, proper noun. So let's not look at any of this. What is a common noun, Kayla? You have to unmute yourself. What is a common noun?
Like a book would be a common noun.
Excellent. What is a proper noun? Andy?
A name.
A name, okay. And what is a, now I forgot. Oh my goodness, I forgot. Okay, and what is a plural noun? Kayla?
I have no idea.
A plural noun means that it's more than one person, place, or thing. So you have three kinds of nouns: common noun, person, place, or thing; plural noun, in which you have more than one person, place, or thing; or a proper noun, names and titles of people. So what is a pronoun, Andy?
It replaces the noun.
It replaces a noun. Can you give me some examples of pronouns?
He, she.
They, yes, no, those are all, that's correct. Those are all subject pronouns. We're going to also learn that there are many different kinds of pronouns as well. All right, so everybody good with nouns and pronouns? How many of you learned this in like second grade? Did you all learn this in second grade? Yes? Andy? Kayla?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is all very easy stuff. Okay, let's skip to verb tenses. So here you have to remember the characteristics of a verb. So you can have many different tenses. Verb tenses reflect action. So you can have present tense. I shout now. He shouted yesterday. And then 3 years ago, he had shouted. And so here you have I shout, something that's happening now. Past tense is something that happened yesterday. Past participle is something that could happen many years ago or centuries ago. So that's the difference between simple past tense and past participle. Present participle means something that's happening right now. He is shouting. Okay, so he shouts, he is shouting. So he is in the process of shouting. Verb tenses can either be active tense or passive tense. In active voice, the subject receives, you can either have active or passive voice. So the subject either receives the action or does the action. So here, the bird was run over by the car. Here, the bird is receiving the action of being run over by the car. So that means that makes it a passive voice. So every time the subject is receiving the action and not doing anything, it's being passive, then it's passive voice. And then when the subject is doing the action, then it's active voice. So here, while the bird is being run over by the car in passive voice, here the car ran over the bird. So here the subject car is running over the bird. And so verb tenses also refer to time. Yesterday I went to the store. Today I stay home. Tomorrow I go to work. Here's a quiz question. Which one is not true about verb tense? Verb tenses refers to a verb being active or passive. So here is something that's not true. So this is kind of tricky. So here verb tenses do refer to active and passive. So I just said, so this is not the correct, so A is not the correct answer because you can have an active voice or a passive voice with verbs. Tense refers to how stressed the verb is in the sentence. So that's not correct because when something is stressed, it's a syllable. So if I want to say invitation, or here's an example, British English, you would say privacy. And sorry about that. This is a robocall. Don't the robocalls drive you nuts? Yes. Yeah. So when you have something that's stressed, this means that you're saying that word, that particular syllable with more stress. So in British English, I would say privacy. And in American English, I would say privacy. And so when you stress a certain part of the word, you're talking about English pronunciation and you're talking about English syllables. That has nothing to do with verb tenses. So that's why B is not, so that's why B is not true. Okay, B is the only one that's not true because verbs have nothing to, tense has nothing to do with how stressed a word is. That has to do with pronunciation. Instead, so which is not true? B. Okay, this is the correct answer. Does everyone follow that? Because verb tenses refer to being active and passive, and verb tenses also refer to time, but it does not refer to how stressed something is. So B is the answer. Everyone clear on that? Yes, just say yes.
Yes.
Okay. Which one represents active verb tense? The child kicked the ball into the street. The ball was kicked into the street. Then you have to ask yourself, in which sentence is the subject doing the action? If the subject is doing the action, it's active voice. If the subject is receiving the action, it's passive voice. So which sentence has the subject that's doing the action? So here I have A, the child kicked the ball into the street, because here you have the active verb, the child, the subject child, actually doing the action. Here, the ball is receiving the action of being kicked by someone. So on your quiz, you have to know the difference between active and passive voice. When you write your essays, you need to use primarily active voice. Hovering, oh, is everyone okay with all of this? Yes? Okay, which represents that hovering overhead at the scene of the accident was several traffic helicopters. What kind of error is this? So here, hovering overhead at the scene of the accident, that is a prepositional phrase. So whenever I mention time and place, John is at the store, or I am on my computer. Those are all prepositional phrases that indicate time and place. So hovering overhead at the scene of an accident is a prepositional phrase. And so here, hovering overhead at the scene of the accident was several traffic helicopters. So several traffic helicopters is the subject in this sentence. So you got prepositional phrase, verb, and plural subject. So what kind of error is this? If you have a plural subject, you need to have a plural verb. So several traffic helicopters. So the correct answer is hovering overhead at the scene of the accident were several traffic helicopters. And so the answer to this is subject-verb agreement, because when you have a plural subject, you have to have a plural verb. When you have a single subject, you have to have a single verb. And that concept is known as subject-verb agreement. So if I have a single subject, he becomes he is. And then if I have a plural subject, they, it becomes they are. And so here you have the conjugation. And so incorrect would be I is, he are, they is, you is. And so correct conjugation would be I am, you are, she is, we are, they are. And so here you have singular verb goes with singular subject, plural verb goes with plural subject. Which sentence is correct? You was on your way home, you are on your way home, or you is on your way home? Brittany, which one is the correct one? Kayla, which is the correct one?
You are on your way home.
B is correct, correct. Compound subject. A compound subject means you have two subjects in a sentence. John and Robert, Yvonne and Jane. So that's a compound subject. So that's a plural subject. So when you have more than one subject with subject-verb agreement, it takes a plural verb. And so for the compound subject, which verb is needed? And so here you have Samantha and Jacob. So that's two people. And so they ride. So Samantha and Jacob ride the A train to work. So if you're not sure, you can always go, they ride, he rides, they ride. And so if you see a compound subject, it always takes without the S. So here A is the correct answer. And so here's the correct conjugation of the verb ride. I ride, you ride, he or she rides, they ride, we ride. Which statement knows the incorrect item in this sentence? The coat and scarf looks very warm. What's wrong with this sentence? Even though it's written out there. Andy, what's wrong with that sentence?
Look. Should be look.
Yes, correct. Here you have subject. So on your quiz, they're going to say, is the error subject-verb agreement? Is it going to be verb tense, or is it, you're going to see it down there. So which statement knows the incorrect item? And so here it's supposed to be that this coat and scarf, which is a compound subject, look very warm. And so that's the end of, and you also have this. And I am missing this. Okay. And then here, the subject and verb. So here is chapter 21. There was a student who couldn't find chapter 21 in her book. So here's chapter 21 in my lecture notes. So chapter 21 covers what is a subject and what is a verb. And so the subject comes before the verb. And so the dog chased after the cat. So the dog is the subject, chased is the verb, and always the object comes after the verb. So the subject does the action. The verb is the action. The object receives the action. The preposition shows where something is. The subject of a sentence tells who or what the sentence is, or about who or what is doing the action. So here, is it true or false? The subject of a sentence tells who or what the sentence is about, or who or what is doing the action. And the answer is true, because the subject is always the one that's doing the action. So if here you have the dog chased the cat. So here the dog is always the one, or the subject always the one chasing after the cat doing the action. And so here you have true. A singular subject means you just have one subject. A plural subject means you have two subjects. That's the same thing as compound subject that we just did. So which one demonstrates a plural subject? The coats, or the coats? The coats were packed away for summer. The coat's zipper was stuck. The coat's pocket had a hole. So remember that a plural subject is the same thing as a plural noun. Okay, so which one is a plural noun and which one is the same thing as a plural subject? Is it A, B, or C? Andy?
A.
A, okay. So when you have more than one noun, it is a plural subject. Hear more about chapter 24, verb tenses. So verb tenses show time. It shows, you have the simple past tense, the past participle. I guess I skipped over a page when I did this. I meant to do this. The car was steered to, so here's subject verb agreement. All right, so we already covered verbs. I'll just read it again. So regular and irregular verbs. That's in chapter 24. So verb tenses show time. The simple past is formed when the verb ends in ed. The past participle is used when the helping verb is have, has, or had. The present participle is formed by adding ing to the present. And verb tenses show active or passive state, and verb tenses show time. And verb tenses show, you have to know all of these things about verbs because those are the things that are on your test. So they'll ask you what characteristics are verbs. So you got to remember all of that. So here you have, see, this is, I'm not used to dealing with this in this format, you know, normally I have it one page at a time. All right, so a verb must agree with the subject in number. I am not doing this in the correct order. Oh, well. Okay, so subject and verb, we have, if the subject is plural, then the verb is plural. If the subject is singular, the verb is, which of the following is true about subject verb agreement? Is it A, B, or C, since we did this already? So remember, plural subjects go with plural verbs. Singular subjects always go with singular verbs. So don't let them confuse you. This is an actual quiz question. So which is the correct answer? A, B, or C?
A.
A, yeah. If a subject is plural, the verb needs to be plural. So beware that they will try to confuse you here. And so when you have everybody does their work, on this quiz, they're going to say everyone does his or her work. Because every time you have a verb like everyone, somebody, nobody, anybody, all of those takes a singular verb and a singular possessive pronoun. So everyone does his work. Nobody is perfect. So always subject verb agreement with everybody, somebody, nobody, and anybody. That's all singular subject verb agreement. And so here you have a quiz question, okay? Several helicopters were hovering overhead at the scene of the accident. So here you have what we just did earlier. Here you have the plural subject helicopters with the plural verb were. The red house was. 4 chairs were. And so all of these are plural subject with plural verb. All right, and I think I did that already. All right, and so indefinite, I was talking about indefinite pronouns earlier. And so indefinite pronouns always take a singular verb. Nobody is perfect. Every man, woman, and child is or are in the room. And then when you have either or, neither nor, that also takes a singular verb. Neither John nor Mary is married, okay? Or neither John nor Mary is going to the party. So if you have neither nor or either or, it takes a singular verb. But if I have something like both and, if I say both Mary and John will go to the, went to the party, or that takes a plural verb. That's not a plural verb. Both Mary and John are going to the party. And so here you have a plural when you have a compound. So when you have and, that makes it a plural subject, which means it takes a plural verb. When you have or, that makes it a singular subject and a singular verb. So even if you have 2 nouns in the subject, it is the conjunction and or that makes the difference between a singular verb or a plural verb. So if I have the word or in between the nouns, is that a singular or a plural verb, Andy?
Singular.
Singular, and becomes what? Brittany. And the person down there who's student, what's your name?
Ashley.
Ashley, because I don't know who student is, so I was just
I don't
wondering.
know how to, this is my first time ever using Zoom, so I've never done this before.
Oh, okay, because you're showing up as student. And so here you have a plum or an orange, and that becomes is a good snack. A plum or an orange is not, or an or is the one that makes it singular. And so when you have verb tenses, not only do your subject and verbs need to agree, you also have to have consistent verb tense. And so if you start the sentence in past tense, then all of your verbs have to be in past tense. If all of your verbs are in present tense, then in one sentence, then all your verbs have to be in present tense. And so that gives it consistent verb tense. And so you don't say, I watered the garden, nurtured the garden, and will do something else to the garden. So you can't do will and ed and ed. Everything has to be past tense, past tense, past tense, or you would say present tense, present tense. Oh, welcome, Gail, to the class. So that's consistent verb tense. So here you have the gardener breaks up the hard earth, added peat, blends the soil. And so what's wrong with this sentence? Here is added. Okay, so that's not consistent verb tense. You have to have breaks up the soil, adds peat, and blends the soil, and then present tense, present tense, present tense. And then when you have present tense, then you have consistent verb tense. And so here, this is from your quiz, Dot searched the $20 bill, for she had hid somewhere in her purse. And so here, searched should have hidden. She had, if I wanted this to be correct, she hid somewhere in her purse. Then this would be correct, because then this would be simple past and simple past. But instead, you have had, I believe that's the had hidden was the correct. Then if I want to make this correct, Dot had searched. So either way, you have to make the two tenses equal in order for this to have consistent verb tense. So this sentence does not have consistent verb tense, and therefore the answer to this question is, which statement knows the incorrect item in this sentence? C, this sentence does not have consistent verb tense because you have to have hid. It's the correct whatchamacallit. So Dot searched for the $20 bill, but she had hid somewhere in the purse. And here you have searched and hid. So you need consistent verb tense. And I believe that's it. Yeah. All right. So now we're in the practice quiz one. This is the fun part for most students. So if you can score a 100% on this practice quiz one, then you can score a 100% on your actual quiz. So the reason why I say this over and over again until I'm blue in the face is that every time I see some student who gets a 50% or 40%, then I know they did not listen to the recording, they didn't study, and they didn't bother to get a 100% on their practice quiz first before taking the actual quiz. So that's why this is important to be able to, in order to show that you know all the material. And so here, let's get our 100%, okay? The dog chased a cat around the yard. What is the subject of the sentence? Is it A, B, or C? Gail, is it A, B, or C?
It's C, dog.
The dog, excellent. Which verb is needed for the following sentence? Either Alex or Hannah, A, B, or C? Ashley. Either or.
Would it be A?
No, that would be both Alex and.
Oh, I'm
no,
sorry.
So it's not A. It would be.
Should be C.
It should be C. Yvonne is wrong. You were right. A, either or makes it singular. He leads, she leads. Yes, so either or, so I made a mistake. Either Alex or Hannah leads the chorus. He leads.
So
she
it is A.
It is A, yes. So that was my bad.
Okay.
So which verb is needed for the following sentence? Either or, because or makes it singular, so it's A, leads. Which one is not true about verb tense? A, B, or C? Andy,
B.
B. Dot searched for the $20 bill she had hid somewhere in her purse. Which statement notes the incorrect item in the sentence? Ashley,
Should be B.
yes, that's correct. No, dot searched. This is had, hid, and hid. So therefore the tenses are not consistent because here you should have had searched. Now you got consistent verb tense. If I say Dot had searched for the $20 bill, she had hid somewhere in her purse. So here the incorrect item in this sentence is consistent verb tense. So you have to have the same verb tense in one part of the sentence as in another part of the sentence. And so C is the correct answer. Which of the following is true about subject-verb agreement? Kayla, A, B, or C?
A.
A, excellent. Janet earned first place in the poetry competition. What type of noun is the underlined, go up here. It's the underlined word. Wow, that's not very good. So Janet, got to remember, is that a plural, proper, or common noun?
Proper.
Proper noun. Which statement knows the incorrect item in this sentence? This coat and scarf looks very warm. Andy, is it subject verb agreement? Is it consistent verb tense? So here we know it's got consistent verb tense because looks and seems. It has the same tense, so therefore it can't be B because this one has looks and seems, present tense and present tense. So we know the answer is not B. And are there any irregular verbs in this sentence? Any irregular verb, when you have it ED and ED, that means these are both regular verbs because you can form an irregular verb is like go, I went, that sort of thing. Anything that can't be formed in a simple past with ED is an irregular verb. And anything with ED is a regular verb. Sorry, what did I just say? Anything, the regular verb is ED verbs, and irregular are all the other verbs, like I went. And so here, so the answer is, where did it go?
A.
A, yes, subject verb agreement, because this coat and scarf, compound subject, looks, that's not right. So it should be this coat and scarf look very warm. Number 8 is aunt, a common, proper, or plural noun? Ashley,
Common. A.
common noun, very good. Which one represents active verb tense, A or B? Gail,
A.
A, excellent. Which sentence represents passive verb tense? Ashley. Remember, passive verb tense is when the subject receives the action. So in which of the two sentences is the subject receiving the action? Is it A or B?
B.
Here, the subject is doing the action of steering
Oh,
the
I'm sorry.
car. Yeah, the car was steered to the side of the road by somebody. And so here you have passive voice. It's when it's receiving the action of being steered. So that's number 10. Which verb is needed for the following sentence? A plum or an orange, were, is, are, is. It's A, B, or C?
C.
C is a good snack. For the compound subject, which verb is needed? Samantha and Jacob ride, ridden, rides. Kayla,
Ride.
they ride, correct. Which demonstrates a plural subject? The coats, coats, or coats? A, B, or C? Ashley,
sorry. It should be A.
should be A, excellent. And Andy, which one is a noun? Ran, river, or lumpy?
river,
River. What is the correct pronoun to use for the pronoun for the antecedent children? The children played with Brittany. A, B, or C? You have to unmute yourself. Is it A, B, or C? The children played with toys all day. Is it the children played with their toys all day? The children play with them toys all day? Or the children play with her and his toys all day? Which one sounds correct?
A.
A, excellent. And so here the children play with their toys all day. Which sentence is correct? You, was, are, is. Ashley. Which is the correct
B.
one? B, excellent. Which sentence below shows active voice? Andy, A or B? Which shows active voice?
B,
B. And number 18, Gail. The subject of a sentence tells who or what the sentence is about, or who is or what is doing the action. Is that true or false? Gail, did I say Gail originally?
Yeah, A, true.
A is true. Yeah, always the subject of the sentence does the action. Number 19, hovering overhead at the scene of the accident was several helicopters. What kind of error is this? Ashley, standard English, subject verb agreement, or consistent verb tense?
Should be,
Did you say the answer already?
no, subject verb agreement.
Excellent. Yeah, because here you have traffic, helicopters. This is a plural subject, which takes were. And so therefore plural subject, and this is not the correct. So yes, subject verb agreement. And I think that's it. Is that it? Yeah, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Do you want to go over this again, or do you think you know it cold? What say you? I'm willing to go over it again if you want.
I think I need a little more practice.
Okay, all right. So you're supposed to get 100%. All right. So the dog, this time you're going to know it. It's going to go much faster. The dog chased the cat around the yard. What is the subject of the sentence? A, B, or C? Anybody can just say it. Just say it out loud.
C.
C. Which verb is needed for the following sentence? Either Alex or Hannah. What's
A.
the answer?
Lead.
Lead,
Leads.
yes, because here you have or, and it's a singular subject. Alex, Hannah, lead. Which one is not true about the verb tense? A, B, or C? Anybody?
B.
B, excellent. Dot searched for the $20 bill she had hid somewhere in her purse. What is the correct answer? Anybody?
C.
C. Which of the following is true about the subject verb agreement? A, B, or C?
A.
A. Janet earned first place in the poetry competition. What kind of noun is this? Plural, A, B, or C? Plural, proper, or common? Janet, as a
B.
reminder. B, correct. Which statement notes the incorrect item in this sentence? The coat and scarf looks very warm, but the wind seems to go right through them. Is it A, B, or C? Anyone?
Subject verb agreement.
Excellent, yes. My aunt makes the best chocolate cake. What type of noun is the underlined word? A, B, or C?
A.
A.
A. Which one represents active voice, active verb tense? It's the same thing. Active verb tense and active voice is the same thing. So is it A or B? Active voice.
A.
A, yes, it's the subject doing the action. The child is kicking the ball. So that's active verb. Which sentence represents the passive verb tense or passive voice? A or B? The car was steered or the driver steered? Anyone?
A.
A, because the car is being steered by the driver. Which verb is needed for the following sentence? A plum or an orange? Is it were, are, or is?
Is.
Is, yes, because or. Whenever you have the conjunction, coordinating conjunction or, then it makes it a singular subject. Which, for the compound subject, which verb is needed? Samantha and Jacob ride, ridden, rides.
Ride.
Ride, like they ride, yes, because as soon as you have and, see, that's the trick. As soon as you have and, that makes it plural, and when you have or, that makes it singular. Number 13, which one demonstrates a plural subject? Coats, coats, or coats? A, B, or C? Anyone?
A.
A.
A. Which one is a noun? Everybody should know this instantly.
B.
B. Which is the correct pronoun for the antecedent children? A, B, or C?
A.
A.
A. Which sentence is correct? You was, you are, or you is on your way home?
B.
B. I have a lot of relatives who talk like this. You was, you is, in Texas. Anyway, which sentence below shows active tense? A or B?
A.
There are several, the movie starts today, or there are several start times to the movie. For the movie, in which one is the subject doing the action?
B.
B, yes.
B.
And number 18, the subject of a sentence tells who or what the sentence is about. Is this true or false? What is the subject of a sentence? What's the function of it?
True.
True.
True, yes. Hovering overhead at the scene of the accident, what kind of error is this? Is it A, B, or C?
B.
B, subject verb agreement. Everybody good so far? I think that's it for this entire quiz. Do you want to go over it again, or do you know it's solid? And you're ready for your week 1 quiz? Are you ready for the week 1 quiz? We could stop right here and I can talk about your week 2 assignment. No? Yes?
I'm ready for it.
You're ready? You're ready for the week 1 quiz, Andy?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's Andy and Kayla. What about you, Ashley? Are you all ready? Brittany and Gail?
Yeah.
You're ready. Okay, what about you, Brittany and Gail? You ready for the quiz?
I'm ready.
Good, we're all ready for the quiz. This is all, so I will go over it very quickly. The dog chased the cat around the yard. The answer is the dog, because that's the subject. Which verb is needed for the following sentence? Either or, and then here you have they lead, and he leads, she leads. A. Which one is not about a verb tense? Tense refers to how stressed the verb is in a sentence. Dot searched for the $20 bill she had hid somewhere in her purse. Consistent verb tense because it's 2 different verb tenses. Which one is the correct answer for subject verb agreement? If the subject is plural, the verb is plural. And then here you have Janet is a proper noun because it is the name of someone. And here you have the coat and scarf looks. So that is subject verb agreement. My aunt makes the best chocolate cake. That is a common noun, person, place, or thing. Which one represents the active verb tense? Subject is doing the action. A, the child kicked the ball into the street. Which sentence represents passive verb tense? The car was steered, so the receiving the action subject, so that's passive tense. And then which verb is needed for the following sentence? Is. A plum or an orange is a good snack because or is singular. Samantha and Jacob. That is and makes it plural, so it becomes a. Samantha and Jacob ride the A train. Okay, so he rides. Did I do that wrong again? Yeah, no, I didn't. Which one demonstrates a plural subject? The coats were packed. A. So apostrophe S is when you have possessive. And then no apostrophe S is when you have plural. Which one is a noun? River, person, place, or thing. There, T-H-E-I-R, possessive pronoun is what we use for when you want to show possession for an antecedent that's plural, children. You are on your way home. Active tense, the movie starts today. And so that is the subject that's doing the action. The subject of a sentence tells who or what it is about. That's true. Hovering overhead were several helicopters. So that's subject verb agreement. And that's pretty much it. Did I go too fast? No? All right, so then we're at the, if you don't need any more practice for practice quiz 1, and all I'm going to mention is your next week's assignment. I'm going to go over in a lot more detail next week's assignment, which is week 2. You're going to do an essay, a narrative essay, where you're going to write about some event that really changed your life. Okay, and so we're going to use the 5-paragraph essay structure. Now, if you can't think of any event that changed your life, you can always write this one. I became a nurse because. Reason 1, reason 2, reason 3. And then here you have, I became a nurse. This is the thesis statement, which is the main idea. And your thesis will be the last sentence of the first paragraph. And so I became a nurse. This is the topic. And then the reason 1 would be paragraph 2. Reason 2 would be paragraph 3. Reason 3 would be paragraph 4. And then in conclusion, you just repeat the I became a nurse because. And so you can either do this as your topic, or you can think of getting married was the turning point in my life because. Reason 1, reason 2, reason 3. Having my baby is the turning point of my life because reason, or some other topic. So that's what we're going to be working on. And so for your week 2 assignment, which I'm going to go over in more detail in the week 2 lecture next Wednesday, you're going to write an outline of that first essay of the turning point event in your life. And then this is the standby topic if you can't think of any turning points. For my military students, the turning point was boot camp or joining the military, obviously, was the turning point in their lives. And obviously for my nursing students, it's becoming a nurse or deciding to go back to nursing school. So that's another one. Deciding to go back to nursing school was the turning point in my life because I want a stable job. I want to be a role model for my kids, and I want to help people. Those are examples of reason 1, reason 2, and reason 3. And then here you would write about I want a stable job, paragraph 2, paragraph 3. I want to be a role model for my kids. And then paragraph 4, I want to help people. That's an example of, and when you have a thesis statement with matching body paragraphs, that's known as the 5-paragraph essay structure. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing. My role model was my mother because, and then you could have your 3 reasons. And so that will be your next week's assignment in which you will write an outline. And that will be, and next week, you will not have a forum. You will only have to write the outline for essay 2. And then essay 1, for essay 1, narrative essay. But for this week, you just have to do this quiz and the introduction forum. And so if you have no other questions and you don't want to go over this, you don't need to go over this again. Oh, there's the stop share. Okay. So stop share. So does anyone have any questions? Oh, I didn't see Alexis. You weren't on my gallery. Only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people showed up on the gallery. So Alexis, if I didn't call on you, it was because your box somehow didn't show up on gallery. So any of you want a one-on-one? This is the time in which I ask, does anyone want a one-on-one Zoom meeting or feel like they need extra help or extra? Then by this time, everybody who's like, oh, I get it, can then say, bye, I'll see you next Wednesday. And then the one person who says, oh, but I need extra help, can then stay after. So anybody need to stay after for extra help on anything? No.
I did just have one question.
Sure. What's your question?
Did you say that next week we aren't going to have a forum discussion?
Correct. Yes. This class, you only have a forum every other week. So
Okay.
that makes it easier. Then you focus on your assignment. So no, you don't have so for attendance, you would just have to hand in your assignment. If you don't hand in your assignment, then it's like your attendance. It's not, you're not here, you see. In this week,
Okay.
your attendance is both, you do your quiz and I think your forum. It's both of them. I think it's the forum that does the attendance for this week. And then handing in, and on weeks in which you have no forum, it's handing in your assignment that counts as your attendance.
Okay.
If you have no more questions. Oh, okay. So if you have, and also another thing is if you ask me questions in chat feature, I'm not able to see that because all I see are the share, this grammar thing, and then I see the name. So if you had a question for me in chat, better to just say it out loud, instead of saying it in chat. So you would say, so let's say Andy has a question. I don't understand how to do such and such. And if you type that into chat, I wouldn't see it. But if you say it out loud during the lecture, I will hear it and then we can discuss. So if you ever have any questions about assignments, you can also ask me during the Zoom lectures. And so if you want one-on-one help, I can give the one-on-one help before the Zoom lecture and also after the Zoom lecture. Okay, in other words, before 4 p.m. and after 4 p.m., whenever I finish the lecture. So, and it's always on Wednesday. So I want to welcome everyone to this class. And if you have any questions about the quiz or about the assignments, you can always email me. And if you want to schedule a one-on-one Zoom before or after the lecture, you just tell me your preference, okay? But if I do it if you want it after the lecture, you have to wait until after the lecture. But if you don't want to wait at all, then we can schedule it for before the lecture. So if we have no more questions, do you have any more questions? Yes, no, no? All right, so next Wednesday, what? Someone was about to speak. I thought I heard.
Sorry, me.
Yeah, go ahead.
I sent you an email because I couldn't figure out how to get into Zoom, but as you can see, I figured it out. So I'm sorry, you could just disregard that.
Oh, okay. Okay, disregard it. All right. So if there are no more questions, I'll see you all next week at the Wednesday, same time, same place, 4 p.m. Lecture. Was this lecture clear? Was this lecture clear? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So was my audio clear? Because this is the first time I'm using this computer and this setup. So I got it. So you're the guinea pigs.
Yeah, it was.
It was clear? Yeah?
Yep.
Okay, good. So I don't have to yell at the computer guy for doing a bad job. All right. So I'll see you all next week, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Bye.
Bye.